Dun, 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 dun. Welcome to New York, but not the old New York of today, but of the new New York of the year 2255. The ravages of time have made it the really, really updated New York that not that old pile of rubble used to know York, but as the inhabitants of 22 like to refer to it as the new old New York. Hidden in the city is a secret laboratory with a beehive of technology that not even Jack Kirby could draw. It belongs to the sinister Dr. Invincible. With a few more touches, and I, Dr. Invincible, can hold the city for ransom. Again, click. Oh, looks like I sent a message to my frenemy, Dr. Catastrophe. I need to be more careful. Wait a minute. That's not the message button. What does that button do? Kaboom! A large explosion is the result of that button mishap. And now, new old New York has become old New York. Is that right? New old. It doesn't matter. We're not mentioning it ever again. But Dr. Invincible pulls himself from the once secret bad guy lair to find help from nearby people who don't seem to notice him. Oh, hello? What, my lab? What happened? Hang on. There's a person standing on the corner. You there? Did you see that? Hey! He doesn't see me. Could it be that I, Dr. Invincible, have discovered invisibility? Why, I'll be Dr. Invisible. That'll be easy to change on my stuff. Ah, but at that moment, a dark figure arrives on the scene, and with him is another being clad in a white suit, both looking right at the bewildered doctor. Hey, you two, you notice me? I seem to have survived being exploded.
Ah, cripes. He sees us. Showtime! And look, he ain't figured it out yet.
Typical reaction. You'd think they'd be able to put two and two together by now.
Hey, if this joker could put two and two together, his lab would still be standing. Scientists, I tell you. He's got 4 doctorates and no common sense.
Hey! No, nobody could see or hear me except you two. Just who in the name of Frankenstein and Igor are you?
Allow us to introduce ourselves, Doc. This is the Archangel Gabe.
A pleasure to meet you.
And I'm Death. Put it there, Doc.
Oh, well, your hand is colder than my mother's dead frozen heart, which I designed, patented, and copyrighted, and trademarked.
Yeah, I remember that one. You're one twisted cruller, Doc.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Diaz, was it?
No, Death, the Grim Reaper, King Yama, the third ghost.
And you can call me
As in no living no more, pushing up the daisies, taking the long dirt nap, the expert and all that. Any of this getting through?
Dead? Me? I'm dead?
Yes!
No, it can't be. You can't do this to me. I mean, I didn't mean to blow myself up. It was an accident. Oh, no!
Now there's a mad scientist.
Nice one.
Say, what's that repeating flashes of light up in the sky over there?
Ah, that's just a portal. Hang on. There's something different. What is that?
Now, old boy. You don't think the boss paired us up for routine retrieval and collection, do you?
It's more than just a lab mishap, isn't it?
Yep.
Seriously? All those chain explosions, you know what this means. You guys are not dumping the paperwork on me. I'll be backed up for weeks. I was about to take a holiday.
So dump it on him. I'll back ya.
Could work.
Hey, what are you two talking about? I demand an explanation.
Should have named himself Dr. Inconceivable.
Dude, you are on fire tonight.
Hey, stop all that whispering. What are those flashes in the sky? What goes on here?
All right, calm down, Charlie Brown. Here's the deal. My dear Dr. Incorrigible.
Invincible!
I know what I said. You have been bestowed a great, great honor. The powers that be have decided that you, Dr. Invincible, are to be my replacement. You, Doctor, are the new death, with all duties and responsibilities continued forthwith. Congratulations.
Me? The new death? Ha, I, I don't know what to say. Imagine me lording over the horde of the dead, commanding them to do my bidding.
Oh, no, 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 Doctor. I certainly hate to interrupt your monologuing,
Huh?
but I don't think you quite grasp the duty that being death actually entails.
I cause things to die, right?
Oh, no, my dear. I'm dreadfully sorry, but you never, ever, ever cause deaths. The powers that be decide those things. Your essential job here
And we cannot stress this enough.
is to meet, escort, and keep track of each of the billions of souls that leave this reality.
It's a very important and serious responsibility.
And you get to drive the little boat down that little river.
Say, what gives?
Hey, I had the same reaction you did. It all sounds so glam and glitz until you find out it's pretty much an internal collections and customer service position. And the paperwork.
Oh, but you sold the image so well.
What can I say? We have the best PR team of all time.
Wait, I blew myself up. How did I get picked?
Because I ain't doing no paperwork for no 60 million people.
I'm sorry, what was that?
He means the replacement death is one who has caused even more deaths than their predecessor. You, dear doctor, have been responsible for the loss of over 60 million people.
60 million? How on earth could I have caused that much death?
You remember those flashes up in the sky? Each one of
Mhm.
them is a neutron missile that Dr. Catastrophe was constructing. Remember that accidental message you sent to Dr. Catastrophe?
Oh, yes.
Your lab message mishap sent a virus into his satellites, raining a steady stream of death on every major city on the planet for the last 10 minutes or so.
When did Dr. Catastrophe notice?
Oh, about 10 seconds before his lair got obliterated and he burned alive. But he did curse your name. Come now, doctor. It's time to get started.
I no, I don't think I can.
Hey, you got this. We could have picked a goth or a metalhead, but we picked you. How about this? Instead of calling yourself Dr. Invincible, because obviously you ain't, you can be known as Dr. Inevitable. How's that grab you?
I guess that sounds kind of neat.
And you put my record to shame.
Yeah, I guess I did, didn't I? Well, wait a minute. Who were you before? I've got to know.
Me, I was,
He was a Krognak the Conqueror.
yeah, Cognac.
Krognak.
Krognak. Oh, I am impressed.
And you should be. Now move along. You got paperwork and I got a holiday. So long, sucker.
Uh, and so, dear listeners, Dr. Invincible, now known as Dr. Inevitable, learned that he didn't learn very much. He kind of got suckered. Kind of stupid, actually. I don't know. Maybe endless desk work is its own special hell. Honestly, I quit listening after my part was over. I didn't even know I had to come back on this part. I don't know. Maybe you're the one supposed to learn something from it. I don't know. Anyways, look. However, this weekend, yes, let's talk about this weekend. For the price of sitting through whatever just happened, you get to see incredibly eerie artwork, listen to kooky comedy music, revel in ghoulish, geeky events here on Discord. You may be trapped in a computer at home, but at least you're at MarsCon
MarsCon 2021.
Forces
Forces
of
of
Darkness.
Darkness.
Thank you for participating, and now stay tuned for a few words from our
And I'm not sure if I'm on.
Hi there, this is Bill from Illusion Makeup Studios for MarsCon, Forces of Darkness. Scary kids.
Hi there, this is Charlie and Steve Miller.
Welcome to MarsCon Forces of Darkness.
So, welcome to MarsCon, and one of my favorite things about MarsCon is how comfortable and approachable it can be. Like, it's just the right size, not too big, not too small. It's perfect people, and kind of easy to understand and it's new. Welcome to MarsCon Meeting. I'm Kathleen Sullivan. I hope everybody's having a good MarsCon.
It's fine.
I'm Terrence Cisco. This is really fun. Enjoy MarsCon. Woo!
Welcome to MarsCon.
Okay, let's do it one more time.
Welcome to MarsCon.
Welcome to MarsCon.
Wait, that was even better.
That was really bad.
Okay, folks, welcome to MarsCon. My name's Christine, and I'm a chair. I'm Wintergreen on Discord. I hope that everyone is having a good MarsCon so far. I'm noticing the numbers keep going up and up with every event, which is wonderful to see. Thank you so much for joining our online-only free event. I'm so glad we were able to pull enough people together with the technical knowledge to actually pull this off. So thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to definitely say a lot more thank yous when the weekend is through. But for right now, I just wanted to say welcome to MarsCon. Please check out our Discord. We have some dealers there who would love to sell you merch. We have an art show alley, which is fantastic. There is a charity auction in progress. There's all kinds of gaming events going on. If you go into Discord, there's lots of hangout places as well, and we've got some good parties that are happening. I know it's all virtual. It's all kind of different and a little bit scary, but you know, if our committee can can make the adjustment, I'm hopeful that you're going to enjoy it too. So please do go to our events and have a really good time. I mean, it's been a long year, so I think we all deserve a nice little break. What I'm going to do now is, first of all, thank Earl Lucas for coming up with that wonderful script for our opening ceremonies. John Sloan, Meg Bjorkman, I thank you very, very much. I'm so glad you guys did that because I was trying to figure out how I was going to pull that off too. And it was fantastic. Thank you. And John Sloan, incidentally, happens to be one of our fantastic guests of honor. He is our artist guest of honor, and he does have a channel in the Discord. So please, please, please just go there and say hi to him at some point over the weekend. I would really love it if you would. Make him so busy saying hi that he barely makes it to his events. But go to those too. And now what I would like to do, we're running a little early, but I think Debbie is up to the task. I would love to introduce Debbie David. She is one of our first MarsCon guests of honor. She was a guest of honor, our very first media guest of honor back in 1999, believe it or not. We've been doing it this long, and she is absolutely wonderful. I remember the very first MarsCon meeting her, listening to her talks about Star Trek and Paramount and all kinds of fun things, and also, you know, hanging out and the dance and the drum jam and things like that. So I'm hoping that this will evoke some happy memories for you, seeing her again. And I just want to say thank you so much, Debbie, for coming and doing this with us, and we really really appreciate you. And thanks again. Thanks also to our streamer Natasha, who's kind of behind the curtain today, but she is making this all happen for us. So thank you, everybody. And without further ado, welcome Debbie David.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I'm broadcasting from my apartment, the little studio part of my little apartment here in beautiful Ferndale, Michigan. And that's where I'm living right now. Now, if you say, oh, who's this? Or I don't know who that is, or that's just an extra, or some strange drag queen talking to you right now, just give me a few minutes to explain why I'm here and why I want to talk to you tonight and tell you about my life. And especially tonight, I want to talk about my years at Paramount Studios. Now, I was the first guest of honor at the very first MarsCon, and that's where I met well, I did a show for Paramount at the Mall of America, very first MarsCon, and that was a year before, I think, the first MarsCon. I think maybe '93. It was the year that I did a show for Paramount at the Mall of America, and you can see me in Generations for just a minute. I'm Patrick Stewart's legs when the Borg Queen is grabbing legs up there. They didn't want to put Patrick up there in the harness. It was kind of a shaky harness. And so I said, all right, Patrick, I'll go up. So those are my legs. And, but anyway, I've got Ruby here. Ruby, come in here. And Ruby is my friend now and part of my bubble that I've had for the last year. And then over here is my husband, Anthony Armour. He's wearing his MarsCon shirt from 2019 when I was there and I appeared there and did 3 different talks. That's the year that your main stars were Bill Blair and John G. Hertzler, the General Martok on DS9. Anyway, Ruby's going to try to keep me because whenever I go to these conventions, I start these stories. And they'll remember me about some other star or some other movie I was on or some show I was on. And I'll get the tangents and I never finish the whole story. So I guess the first thing I should do is tell you that I want to do something that's here's a little bit of a risk, but I want to reach out to some celebrities on this platform. When you're not in Hollywood and you don't want to seem like a celebrity fan at conventions and stuff, and I get invited and I appear at the smaller conventions. I don't really get hired for the big ones usually, but I need to get a message to some of my Star Trek friends. Now I've got. I'm on this DS9 fan club, and I'm hoping some of the DS9 fan club members are watching because I promised to, because I posted on the DS9 site, to tell a story about me being on DS9. And so I decided to tell this. Well, I got a lot of DS9 stories, and I love working on Miss Renee, and Armin Shimmerman is always so kind to me and everything. And I was friends with Randy Flug and a lot of the people that worked on the DS9. I worked on it as a stand-in for guest stars, and when one of the regular stand-ins were sick, usually. But the episode I want to talk about is an episode where I appear, and I can't find it. I've never seen it. And here's the story on that. One day I'm over at working on Next Generation. They came over and said, would you do something for us over on DS9 tomorrow? And I said, well, what is it? And they said, well, it involves you being basically naked. And I said, what? And, and so they said, well, you're going to be covered in this like cocoon like stuff. And I said, okay, yeah, I'll do it. So we go over there that morning, at wardrobe, and they had us put on these little cloth covered things, very flimsy things. And then they started spraying us with these glue guns that would squirt out hot glue into the air. But by the time it hit you, it was just barely hot, but it stuck on you. And they made us into these cocoons. Now, I was definitely up front. And the funny part of the story is when they finally got me all covered in this stuff, they had 6 crew guys. And, you know, these crew guys are the guys that I've been working with for years on Star Trek and other shows like Cheers and Wings and stuff that I worked on. And so they're carrying me in, and they have to be very gentle because they break this glue, you know, it's like, it's real fragile. So they're carrying me in, and one of the guys looks down at me and goes, "I can't believe I've got my hand on your naked butt." And I looked up at him and said, "I can't believe it either. I don't mind if you don't." And so anyway, they placed me, but I've never seen it. And I don't know which episode it is. Now, I didn't watch DS9 in the back in those days because I was on Next Generation, and you know, it was just too much. But I would go over there and tease Randy and the other stand-ins about when the Nielsen's came out every week about DS9. So DS9 fans, if you could tell me what episode that is, where they're in a cave or it's a big, large room and there's these like human pods and I don't know the episode. Okay, enough of that. Well, the way I got to my part, and I've told this story before at other conventions, I was working on a John Ritter movie of the week, and I was playing a groomsman in the wedding and this thing. And one of the other groomsmen was telling me about being an extra background artist on Star Trek The Next Generation. And my friends and I had just started watching it, and we were really excited about this show. We were Star Trek fans. We always went to the Star Trek movies, you know, and we were Star Trek fans already. But back then, it was when VCRs had just came out, and they were like $1,000 for a VCR. And it was a big deal to go to Blockbuster back in those days and show a movie in your own home. But I had a VCR, my friends didn't, and I would tape The Next Generation every week. And they would come over and we would play cards and chess and things and watch The Next Generation one night a week. So I'm watching the show after I heard this from my friend, the groomsman on the John Ritter movie, that Andy at Central was casting Star Trek. So I said, I'm going to get on that. And so I went to Andy, and he, you know, you can't do that. That's from pictures. They had auditions for everybody has their own uniform on Star Trek. They don't need any more people. And I said, okay. But right then, a courier, they needed a courier. Andy said, I need a courier to take pictures down to a studio down in Hollywood. So I said, hey, I'm going into Hollywood. I wasn't, but I said, I'll take the pictures. Well, what do you want? No, I'm just doing you a favor. You owe me a favor. So I took the pictures down there. I slipped one of my pictures in with it. Didn't happen, of course, but you got to try. And then went back to a visiting day at Central Casting, and I said, hey, Andy, those pictures got down there. What do you want? You know, I said, put me on Star Trek. So they finally did. They needed some people. They sent me down there. I interviewed. I got a uniform, a gold uniform, not a red shirt, and I was a background on Star Trek. That was beautiful. And then one night I got a really good shot. I don't remember the episode, but I'm walking in with Data and LeVar Burton, and we are they're explaining something to me, and I got a really good shot. So my friends come over, they're watching it as usual, and the scene goes by. They didn't notice me. So I was a little disappointed, and they went to commercial. I said, hey, wait a minute, I want to see something I didn't understand. So I play the scene again, And when I point at myself and say, "Who is that guy?" And they were, oh, and that was so great, Maybe the next year, the next season, I was talking to Brent Spiner's stand-in, and the stand-ins are called the second team, and the second team comes in after the rehearsal. We watch the rehearsal, but we come in and they place marks. They do camera measurement, and the Panavision cameras that Next Generation was filmed with, they are very precise. They measure right to your nose and things, and you need similar reflectance. So I had to wear a gold shirt, and eventually they gave me one of Brent's older uniforms, which made me look really good as an extra because I had a wardrobe that was just like the stars, and their wardrobe was really nice and comfortable and lined. It was like wearing a nice suit, whereas the extras were in these polyester things that had an elastic strap underneath it to keep the polyester type pajama suit straight with no wrinkles. Oh, that elastic strap would bite into your leg so bad. Well, anyway, so one day I'm talking to Brent Spiner's stand-in, Spike, and he's saying he's going to go to New York, Rochester, New York, and teach acting classes, and he's not going to be Brent Spiner. I said, well, who's going to be the stand-in? They said, oh, they had auditions for him already, and they had people in, and they already picked them. Oh yeah. Well, a couple of days later, I'm in there and I'm in my uniform. They're going to have me do something on the show as Ensign Russell, my character. And so I see this line of people walking into stage 9. We were on stage 8 where the bridge is. And I see them walking into stage 9 where like the medical and the holodeck, the transporter room sets are. And I go, what's that? And they said, oh, they're auditioning to be Brent Spiner's stand-in. So I did like the Wizard of Oz, the Cowardly Lion and the Scarecrow. They get in the back of the line behind the soldiers to go marching into the Queen's castle, and they just get in the back of the line and they get in the castle. Well, I went into the audition that way. And Adele Simmons, the assistant director, she sees me standing there in my Star Trek uniform, and she goes, what are you doing here? And I go, I want to be Brent's stand-in. And she goes, and Brent was coming in right then. And she goes, stand there and be quiet. So Brent goes down and he looks at each person. He gets to the end of the line. And I'm standing there in my Star Trek uniform, and which fortunately was gold like his. And he looks at me. Now, he had spoken to me a couple of times at the craft service table, and he had looked at me appreciatively a couple of times when I had laughed at his jokes. Brent's hilarious on the set, usually always. And so, but he didn't really know me or anything. So he backs up and he talks to Adele and he points over at me and he says, anybody but him. And so I didn't know my eyes. I went, oh, wow. And so I went back to the set, so I wouldn't get in trouble. And so, hey, Ruby, are you checking the chat to see if the DS9 fans are doing that? So, yeah, I can't see it. Anyway, Adele comes up to me and she says, I don't care what he says. I'm going to use you. We know who you are. We'll use you. I don't know if she said that, if that was a plan of her and Brand's, or I don't know if she said that so the other extras, I don't know. But they made me Brent Spiner stand, and it changed my life. I mean, it changed me from being a hustling every once in a while, working on different shows, from Matlock to Jake and the Fat Man to every show you can name in Hollywood, but just being, a crowd scene in the back. And it changed my life, especially when I got named. I was a named character in the canon of Star Trek. And that's the next story I want to tell you about right now, and how I practically gave myself the role of Ensign Russell. So here we are. I'm in there just, regular background, engineering. They had me in engineering a lot. So I was seen in engineering a lot already. I drove the ship one time. I was on the bridge a few times. But most of my scenes were in engineering. So one day I'm in there at the inside where the warp core is, and LeVar's getting ready to do a scene through the curved glass that looks in where there's a control room, and they look into the main. Now, if you look on my Ensign Russell Facebook fan page that I have that people say isn't real, and are telling me it's not real because it's not certified or something. I don't know, validated or something. That's what I want. That's why I'm telling the story. I want you guys to validate me here. Anyway,
Probably Star Trek hater.
so LeVar's getting ready to do the scene, and when he does the scene, he looks through the glass and he says, "Russell, do this." And I look up, and you can see that in the scene, me through the curved glass. Well, now the next scene, we move over to the other side of the engine room, the engineering, and it's where the panels are that you can stand around, and the control panels are on the side. And they are going to do a close-up with me, and LeVar's going to hand me chips and tell Ensign Russell to do something else. Well, Arlene, the assistant director, she came up to me and she said, "You look a little bit shiny. You're going to be close up in this. I want you to go out to makeup and have them just powder your face. You don't have to put on any makeup or anything." I already had my sideburns already shaved and formed into, so I didn't have to go to makeup very often and get like the other guys did. They had to have those points put on their sideburns. They like glued on a little fake hair there on most actors, but because I was on the show so much, I just went ahead and made mine like that. And it's funny because people would ask me back then, "Oh, why do you cut your sideburns like a girl?" Is that, "Oh, girl, I'm doing it for Star Trek." But anyway, LeVar and we're setting up, and they're supposed to do it. Arlene sends me to the makeup. The makeup lady said, "You're not, speaking actor. You're an extra, and we don't do you. You do that over there at the extra trailer." I said, "Oh, okay, fine." I went back. Arlene said, "No, I'll call over there. You go back." So I went back. They powdered me real quick. I came back, but by this time the director's mad, and he's put this other actor who was much shinier than me. You'll see that in the close-up if you ever watch it. The episode is Tin Man. Tin Man is the episode where I got my name. Anyway, we're filming. They've got me in the background. They give me a little device that when you see it on the show, I hit the panel with the device, and the device lights up. It's just a piece of plastic. But Dan Curry told me that each one of those times he lit that thing for me was $3,000. But anyway, side story. See, this is what I do, Ruby. Anyway, LeVar, we're getting ready to do the scene. Because the director was mad, I had taken so long to get the powder on my face. He had put me in the background, and he had put this other guy up there to do the bit with LeVar. So we're getting ready to film. They say, rolling, speed, sound, action, background action, action. And I yell, cut. And the air goes out of the room, out of the ship. And the director goes, "Who said cut?" And I said, "I did." "Why did you say cut?" Now, a background extra, this is going to be death. So I look up at him and I say, "Because I'm Ensign Russell. we just filmed the scene in there where LeVar told me to do something and he said, Russell. So I'm Ensign Russell. Now, LeVar looking at shock at me like, oh no, this person's dead now. He realized what was happening. And he goes, you know, you're right. He is Ensign Russell. Here's what we'll do. We'll do the scene as blocked, but when I say Ensign Russell, I'll refer to you and point at you. And that's the way we filmed it. And that's how I became Ensign Russell. And it changed my life. It changed my life by being in a canon. Now, if you look on my IMDb page, it mentions a little bit about me being Ensign Russell, but I was never credited in any of my roles that I played. I played Klingons, Romulans, Vulcans, Elorian. I think only Bill Blair has more aliens under his belt than me. And then as Ensign Russell, as me as a human Starfleet person, I have been on Enterprise B, C, D, and E. I'm on E now, right? Probably in that timeline. Anyway, but how would I be on B? And this is what I want to talk about. My character, Ensign Russell, a lot of people that I talk to about it who know me and know the show, they think that Ensign Russell is left in the Delta Quadrant or was killed by the Borg in the Delta Quadrant or something. No, I wasn't. And yet you don't see me when Voyager comes back. They made me Lieutenant Russell, and then I stood in for, and I became a red shirt then. The exciting life of being a red shirt. You never know if you're coming back. Anyway, and then I stood in for Robert Duncan McNeil on that. Hi, Robbie, in case you see this. Wild card, but TNG uniform is...
The gold is the red shirts in TNG.
Oh. Gold uniform. Oh, DS9, you don't want to be gold uniform with DS9. Okay.
Or Next Generation.
Thanks, fans. All right. Anyway, see, now I forgot what I'm talking about.
You were talking about Lieutenant Russell.
Yeah, I'm Lieutenant Russell on Voyager, but you don't see me coming back. Now, here's what happened. When Voyager was on Earth in 1976 or something, I think, in the timeline, you see me in the car behind Robbie and Sarah Silverman going down the street. And you don't see me on Voyager after that. So I'm saying that Ensign Russell jumped ship, didn't want to go back to the Delta Quadrant. Sorry, Starfleet. And I've been living as Debbie David and keeping a low profile ever since here on the planet Earth. So that's my plan. I'm going to stick to it. Now, this could get me in trouble here. I'm going to switch gears here and talk about some of the stars that I need to get a message to. And I have stories to tell you. I can't, some of these things I can't ask you. I can't ask you publicly. But it's really important for me as a human being and as a transgender activist and as a actor in Hollywood. And, you know, I've done it all. I've produced, write, wrote, and direct. I need to clear up some things. Okay, so I've been talking about my life, and I was born in Kentucky, and I grew up. Colonel Sanders was my neighbor. And now that I've become transgender, I speak at transgender conventions. I've done Southern Comfort and all the big ones that don't even exist anymore, like Be All in Chicago. And I get asked to talk at schools, and we under my I'm the national secretary for United States Transgender Advocacy, and we have trained police in Illinois and other places on. And then the founder of our group, Crystal Ann Gregg, She wrote a paper and collected a lot of information, Transgender 101, that was used by the HRC and other, I forget the agency, but official government agency to write a book on how transgender people should be treated and how their lives were. So this is the reason I need to get a message to some of these celebrities. So before COVID started, I have been doing shows around here in Detroit area. A lot of times they're the transgender events, like our International Transgender Day of Visibility, which started here in Detroit by Rachel Crandall Crocker, a friend of ours. And so anyway, I talk at these conventions, and they, of course, know that I was a Star Trek actor, and so they will ask me Star Trek questions. And I've told a few stories that relate to my transgender experience and me being at Paramount at the same time. And I'm afraid that I meant them all well, but I don't want it to get back to any of you that I'm talking ill of you. And so I'll start with one of the bigger ones right now. Patrick Stewart, you know I love you, and we had many moments there over the years, and you were always so kind to me and gracious, and taught me a lot. And I have some humorous stories I tell about you coming back and fixing tea. But one story I tell about you is when I had my club in LA, and I was first doing drag shows there. And so I developed this character of Debbie so I could be a host at my own shows. And that was going to be take care of my transgender thing. We didn't know the word transgender back then, but that was how I was handling all of this. And anyway, so one day Patrick had heard that I wear dresses in a show on the weekends, and I heard they were telling him that, and I was standing on the bridge set right there, and he looked up at me and said, "Oh, Carl, I didn't know you were a Nancy boy." And I laughed and I explained what I was doing, and he was fine with it, and everything. But when I've told the story, it started a whole thing on my web pages and stuff about how, Patrick Stewart is like, you're not. And I don't want anybody to ever think that I said that you were. You're a beautiful, one of the smartest and greatest actors I've ever met. And I've met a lot. So, Patrick, I just wanted to apologize. Now, you could have ended my career a couple of times. You caught me in Las Vegas when I was double dipping as an extra on Casino at night when I was supposed to be sleeping and getting ready to go out to the Valley of Fire to finish Generations. But I just wanted to apologize to you. LeVar, I've done the same thing with you, I'm afraid. I tell a story about when you thought I might be a racist because I recommended Cry the Beloved Country to you, that you ought to make the movie of it, and you thought it was a racist story, and I hadn't seen it that way. And then later we made up about that, and we got back to being friends again and everything. And then but anyway, that I told that story, and I didn't mean anything about it. I do have a project for you. I mentioned it to you once. I think it was in Las Vegas in 2013. But you didn't understand what I was talking about, I don't think. So I would really like to tell you that it's really something I think you would be interested in working on, or just giving it to somebody that you know. Okay, so that's LeVar. Now in Hollywood, I got I'm in a lot of different science fiction television shows and movies. And but one of the stars that I used to hang out with, and I was part of their entourage, and I worked with on several movies, was Dennis Hopper. And he's a cousin of mine, actually, too. And because I had already gotten my Screen Actors Guild card before I hooked up with him in Hollywood, when my aunt came out to visit, my Aunt Martha. Hi, Aunt Martha. I hope you see this. Anyway, when I already had my SAG card, so he really respected that, and we became friends, and I hung out with him a lot and would help him with things. But Sean Penn, you see, I was in colors. I was supposed to play this cop, and we were supposed to film at the police station, a bar in Los Angeles, where the helicopters take off downtown. There's a police bar. It has windows that overlook the helipad. And if you're a police officer, you can go there and have 2 drinks, and you sit there for an hour. After your shift, you can have 2 drinks at the police bar. And that's where my scene was. Now, the scene was I was supposed to pick on Sean Penn or give him a hard time, and we get into a fight. There was a fight scene. Well, from what they told me, that morning, Sean Penn was filming a other scene on the beach, and an extra pulled out a camera and took a picture of him, and Sean slugged him. And then Sean gets arrested for assault. And then, because they had permits and it's a real police station and all these things. Anthony's leaving. Everybody's getting bored, I guess. Because we didn't film my scene. And so it was a minor part of the movie. It was a minor part of the movie, and my scene got cut. So you don't see me in colors, even though I got paid for it. And I had to join Screen Actors Guild from Slumber Party Massacre instead of colors, but whatever. But Sean, I was supposed to meet you when you were still married to Madonna with Dennis one morning at the Rose Cafe in Venice. And I had a flat on my bike, which I stupidly was riding that morning from the valley to meet you and Madonna. And he had other plans that Dennis thought would be good with me and you. And then color scenes, And then I became a caregiver later in life. And I've always wanted to help you with what you do. And I've never been able to get to you without seeming like a stalker or something. So, Sean, I know you named your son after Dennis. And I know how much you love Dennis. And I'm part of the colony, according to Dennis and Dean Stockwell and Russ Tamblyn. I'm in the colony. And, I'd like to help you in one of your ways that you help people, especially now that you're working with COVID things. So that's my thing out to Shannon. Now, I got enabled, being with Dennis Hopper and being in that entourage and the artists and the actors and other people in Hollywood that I met. And yeah, what, Ruby?
Soundtrack, science fiction.
Yeah, okay, all right, thank you. I got labeled an enabler. So my next thing I want to say right now is out to Dan Aykroyd. Now, Dan, I'm going to tell this story about you so that you will know who I am. So you will understand that I need to get this information to you. It's been on my heart for 30 years now. Okay, here it is. I was in this movie with Dan Aykroyd and Kim Basinger. It's called My Stepmother is an Alien, and it's a science fiction movie. Anyway, I'm just background. Oh, it's directed by Richard Benjamin, who I got to hang out and talk with too. Fantastic. I had a fantastic day. And John Lovitz and the kid that was there, I can't remember his name, but he did Robot Chicken or something later. Anyway, so I'm working on this movie, My Stepmother is Alien. You can see me in it in the wedding scene. There's a one shot where Dan Aykroyd gets pushed into a drum set or something, and I do this big reaction that Richard Benjamin's at the end of the take came out and said, "Oh, I love your reaction, thank you." So, but anyway, one time during the filming of that movie, they had a light blow or something, and we had a technical holdup in place. I was right there. John Lovitz was right here, and Dan Aykroyd was right here. So we move towards each other and start talking to each other. And I'm in a circle of the three of us talking. And I said something off the cuff about what we were talking about. And Dan Aykroyd laughed, and he reared back when he laughed like this. And he came down and literally slapped his leg with laughter. And I thought, I just made the funniest guy in the world laugh. I don't remember what I said. I wish I did, but and so I had this moment with you, and since you can see me in the movie and you're in the same frame, you know that I was there for that. Okay, well here's the story I'm going to tell. Now it's come out publicly already, so but I wanted to tell it now because I'm not an enabler. I never was an enabler for stars. I tried to help stars that had problems, and Dennis is one of the ones that I helped. I drove him around. I stayed with him a lot. Anyway, one day we're at Imperial Gardens having sushi with Dennis and his then girlfriend. Dennis wanted a pack of cigarettes. So I go over to get a pack of cigarettes out of the machine. There's a guy disheveled, grumbling and fussing with the machine, standing there. And I back up a little bit and, wait for him to finish. And the guy turns and looks at me, and it's John Belushi. And then he fiddles with the machine, and he turns back around at me and he goes, "Don't even." And I guess he thought I was going to ask for an aspirin. I said, "I'm just trying to get some cigarettes." So he gets his cigarettes, and he goes back over to the bar where he was sitting by himself. And I get my cigarettes for Dennis, and I'm walking back across, and he looks up and sees that I'm sitting down with Dennis Hopper. And he comes running over, and Dennis stands up, Denny, oh, and they hug it. Dennis, John Belushi sits down with us, and we have a lunch and they talk and talk. So at the end of it, John says, "Come over to the bungalow. Come over to the bungalow at the Chateau Marmont. I've got the bungalow. Come over there." Well, oh yeah, we'd love to. So anyway, I go to leave, and Dennis says, "Hey, take the Lincoln Town car, and take it out of he knew the owner of the Imperial Garden, and he said, take it out of his parking lot. It's a small lot. It's not fair. And there's a place behind the chateau. You could probably park it." So he and his girlfriend and my wife, they went on to the bungalow with John, and I went and parked the car. So when I come back and I find the bungalow and I'm walking in, I can hear my wife and Dennis talking in this room over here. And there's a long, thin hallway to my left. and I really needed to use the bathroom, and I didn't want to ask and everything. So I thought I'd just sneak down this hallway, and I would look for a bathroom. Well, I go down there and I come around the corner, and there's two people sitting on a couch. And as I come around the corner, I focus on this needle that has gone into the arm of this person. And I'm about to run out of time. Okay. And it's Robin Williams and John Belushi. They're shooting up. And so I told Dennis, you've got to stop. You've got to. What? It's okay, honey. I can't read it. Anyway, it's Robin Williams. And so I go to Dennis and I say, Dennis, this can't be. You've got to stop this. This can't be. And he says, I want you and your wife to go home. We'll take care of it. So so I called later. I said, what happened? You know, we took care of it. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Don't ever tell anybody. Don't say anything about where you were. Well, 2 days later, I'm on my way in the morning to work at 20th Century Fox. And on the way there, I'm going down Sunset, and I'm going to go past the Chateau Marmont. And I'm thinking, I'm going to stop there and tell him that he ought to just smoke pot and not do this type of stuff. And when I got there, he was dead. John Belushi was dead that morning. So I called Dennis. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Dan, I didn't have the nerve. I was afraid. I didn't. I did what I was told, not what I knew was the right thing to do. I could have stopped that, and I didn't. And I've always wanted to tell you that I'm sorry about that. I love John and I love you. I can never watch a Belushi movie again. I can't watch one. Not yet. And the reason I'm going to tell us some of these stories now is because I've lived a year of COVID now. I stopped my job as an inspector for the Great Lakes Water Authority, a job that was given to me. It was very prestigious. I loved doing it. I loved representing the transgender community in a professional capacity that way, and being part of a beautiful company like I was with GDI. But I let that go to be a full-time caregiver, and I gave that up during the COVID, and but my life has gotten really good again, and I wanted to tell that to you. Now, the other stars I'll call out right now, probably don't have time to tell the stories of, but another one is Whoopi from Goldberg. I'm going to tell a story so that you understand that when I tell the other story, it's true. Okay, so Whoopi Goldberg, plays Guinan, of course. And one day we had a scene where in 10 Forward, where Guinan's going to talk to LeVar, I believe. And to start the motion of a scene, and sometimes the cinematographers will have they'll focus on something in the background and let that draw them into the scene. So they wanted me to stand there right next to the end of the bar, and then on background action, start moving forward, and then the camera would follow me onto the bar, and then when Whoopi was in the middle of the frame, the camera would just stay there, and I would go on off. See, that was the transition in that scene. Well, we're standing there, and yeah, what's this one? Oh, 902. Well, I think I go to. Did I go to? I don't even know if I'm still on. I don't know. Anyway, what was I talking about? You are fine. Oh, okay. You're good until about 8:20. Oh, 9. Okay. Okay. I'm on Eastern time, so I got confused. All right. All right. Now, what was I talking about, though? Oh, gee.
You were talking about.
Thank you, Anthony. You're so great. This is a television expert, and I'm introducing Ruby to the world now. She's going to be a part of my return to Hollywood, too. And Ruby and I are going to do some programming of our own here in Detroit. I'm doing Debbie and the D on YouTube already, and I'm doing, I do the media. Okay, I'll wrap it up. Yeah. I should answer some questions too. I've got some questions here. I'm so old. Okay. I was talking about. Okay. I'll just say, Whoopi, I need to talk to you, and but I want to thank you also. I was doing the scene, Star Trek. Whoopi's there, a light blue, so we were going to have to stand there. Rather than they said, Whoopi, you want to go back to your trailer? She goes, no, I'll just wait here, even though it was going to be like 10 minutes. So we're standing there like almost face to face, but we're not. She doesn't want to lock eyes with me because hey, she just wants to finish this scene and get out of there, or whatever. She's staying in her home. She's staying in character. I totally respected that. But it got a little ridiculous after 5 minutes of us standing almost nose to nose, and her not engaging me. Well, anyway, that morning she had just the night before, I think, won the award for Sister Act or something. Yeah, she won something for Sister Act or something. So everybody was saying, "Oh, I love Sister Act. I love Sister Act." All morning you heard that when they saw Whoopi. Oh, congratulations on Sister Act or something like that. And so we're standing there, and so finally she looks up at me and goes like, "What's your story?" And I go, "I loved you in the Long Walk Home." Huh? Now, The Long Walk Home had just been on cable, and I had HBO, and HBO used to show movies over and over when they were the first run movies. And so I had listened to it, and I'm real good at memorizing dialogue. So I quoted some things out of the movie and everything, let her know the scene that I thought she was really good in. So she was like, "Oh, wow." She was very impressed with that. So I don't know if you remember that, but you might remember this one, Whoopi. One day I come into the Star Trek Stage 8 where the bridge is, and that's where they have the craft service table for the union actors and the stars. They have this table of goodies and coffee and everything. And Whoopi's there, and I came in that morning. They said the guy who runs the craft service table is sick. Could you help out? So I go in there and to the storeroom, and there's this big bag of chocolates. And I thought, oh, they never put out enough chocolate. So I put out a big bowl of these chocolates and everything. So Whoopi's signing out. And after the end of her day, and Mary Howard comes over to me and she looks at the craft service. She said, "Who put out all this chocolate? I want good, nutritious food here. Who put out all this chocolate?" And I went, Mary, I did that. I'm sorry. I'm just filling in, Yeah, I don't want your chocolate. And I'm sorry. And anyway, nothing else was said, About a half hour later, this huge, two guys in uniforms are carrying this huge basket. I mean, it's huge, of Godiva chocolates from the Beverly Hills Chocolate Company. It says from the Beverly Hills, and we're Godiva chocolates assortments. It must have cost $3,000 at least. And there was a card on there. Hope you like chocolate, Whoopi Goldberg. So Whoopi, thank you. And the reason I want to thank you is because I used your name. I had a picture. Well, anyway, they found out that Anthony, who's a Wayne County employee for 27 years, and he was a Wayne County account clerk at.
First, I was an account clerk at Wayne County Department of Assessment and Equalization, which assesses property in Wayne County. They then transferred me to management and budget, which pays all the bills for Wayne County, and then to mental health.
But when he brought in the drag queen to meet his fellow workers, because he was so proud of me, and I told him, let's don't do that. But he wanted to meet me to meet his coworkers. But after that, they started writing him up and writing him up. Then one day they come home and they said,
well, let me put it this way.
Let me tell the story. He comes home and I said, did you get fired? I could just tell from the look on his face. He goes, yes. And they had taken away his pension that he had earned, top drawer pension, and they had fired him. They dismissed him. On a Friday evening, they told him at 4:30, they told him get his stuff and never come back. So anyway, we go to EEOC, and I go to EEOC and say, we want a hearing and everything. So we go down there and we talk to them, and they're not going to help us. They're not going to help us at all. And so I said, could you have Anthony leave the room? I want to talk to you privately about him. So I had him leave the room. And then I got out my phone, and I was friends with Whoopi's assistant. She was a wardrobe person on Star Trek, and that's where Whoopi and her met. Anyway, I had her number, and I had pictures of me and Whoopi, me on the show, and Whoopi. And I convinced them that I knew you, Whoopi. And I told him, I said, don't make me call her and use up my one lifetime favor with this woman and tell her what you're doing with this man. And because of that, and Anthony's brother, who died of COVID in May of 2020, and another great Star Trek fan, they gave him his pension back and let him retire right then. To do it. I hope you don't mind, but thank you. Just knowing you. The other people I need to talk to are, and I got to wrap this up. I know I'm wrapping it up now. The other people I need to talk to are Bill Maher, and if you let me tell you why, you'll know why. And Wayne Brady. Wayne, you did your show at my club, a cappella playhouse and where I had Dragopolis, my club. I was going to talk about what I'm doing now and everything. You can find me on all over social media. If you look up about Ensign Russell on Alpha Wiki and all those, you just put Ensign Russell into the Google. It'll show you every episode I'm on. You can Google me standing in on that same site, and also my name as an actor, Carl David Burks. I'm Carl David in Screen Actors Guild. I was in Rising Sun with Sean Connery. There's information about that out there. And Waterworld with Dennis Hopper, Backtrack and Colors. I wanted to, all you panelists and everybody that tuned in, and my Star Trek friends and other people, I want to thank you. And, this MarsCon, I hope I haven't killed it by being boring or anything, But it's going all weekend. If you haven't joined the Zoom and the Discord yet, just get the invitation. And the events are on YouTube, Discord, Twitch, and Zoom. And more details are found on the MarsCon.org website, MarsCon.org. And I'm on Facebook as Debbie David, and I'm on, there's an Ensign Russell fan page. And other optional talking points. There's the GPS charity auction, the Girl Scout cookies. You can buy some. There's reading panels. There's other events to be excited about. And I have to tell you, next year, if you can come to MarsCon Live, please do it, because it is the best convention in the whole country. It's one of my favorites, and they've been so kind to me. They helped change my life. I met Anthony at MarsCon. Okay, that's wrapping it up for Debbie David. I got my mind flooded with so many things right now. Can't tell you how much I appreciate you. I want to give a shout out to the people at Neuromuscular Therapy who are helping me and Anthony after our auto accident we had in a police chase involving the Detroit police. But we were innocent. Anyway, and then I want to give a shout out to Dr. Williamson, who is fixing my teeth. So if you see flashes of me missing teeth, it's all good. They're taking care of it. And Brent, I didn't get to tell you about my apology to you, but I hope to someday. Everybody, I love you, and it's been really great. I was so nervous about this. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for tuning in. And enjoy the rest of MarsCon. Bye.